I had a completely different video planned today. I was going to get out on my fair hills like I usually do, talk about the music that I love with the positivity that you guys so much enjoy. However, it's chucking it down. We've got 40-mile-an-hour winds and it looks like it's not going to be stopping until Monday morning. Not to mention I just smashed my shin on my car door. So as I'm this annoyed, let's talk about 10 more bands I hate. And before any of you start commenting things like, hate's a really strong word and has bad connotations, or, you know, I find if there's a band I don't like, I just choose not to listen to them because, you know, I'm such a good person. Just remember that you chose to click on this video, and more than likely you chose to click on this video because it had the word hate in it. So you're just down there in the gutter with the rest of us. You want some of this? Is that what you want? Do you want this? Is that what you're after, is it? Do you want this? One last thing as well, like my previous video on bands I hate, there was one band that I was sure was going to make this list that I've actually reconsidered, and I'll reveal them at the end of this video. Not only that, there was a band that I included on my hated list last time that I've somewhat reconsidered as well. You can find that somewhere in this video. There's not going to be a timestamp for that though, so you're going to have to watch. But enough of this banter. Settle down in your comfiest chair, get yourself a lovely warm drink, and make sure you've got a packet of your favourite brand of tampons. Let's go. First band, and this is quite an obvious one, Disturbed. Now, as far as their music goes, I don't hate it. It doesn't bother me. It's just kind of meh. I get it. They're a hugely popular band. Their music, I don't necessarily go out my way to turn it off, but I certainly don't go out my way to put it on. For me, I think it's more David Draymond is the reason I can't stand this band. There's just something very disingenuous about him that irks me somehow. I remember there was a recent footage of him at a gig, and there was a girl in the front row who was kind of upset because I think she was disturbed by all the noise. Disturbed! I didn't even plan that. By all the, you know, all the commotion that was going on. So he went over to comfort her, which you'd think would be a quite cool thing. But in my opinion, he kind of brought more attention to it and made her feel more uncomfortable. And I think what really did my head in, it had that vibe about it of somebody who, they go out of their way to do something nice, but in a way, in situations where people see them being nice. It seemed more about him being seen to be trying to be a good person than being a good person. I don't know if that makes any sense. Maybe I'm looking too much into that one, but there's a few things I've seen with him about that. He certainly has an ego, and yeah, there's that sort of behaviour just irks me. It's that kind of, does everybody see me being a good person? My God, he's got that kind of a I'm the Messiah kind of a vibe, and it just kind of bugs me. So, you know, maybe I'm out of line on this one. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. The next band, or should I say artist, this one falls firmly into the I'd like to like this artist. I really would. I got a feeling a lot of you will agree with me, but I've got a feeling even more of you won't, and it is Ozzy Osbourne. Now, I love Black Sabbath, and without question, my favourite era of Black Sabbath is the Ozzy Osbourne era. I love all the other eras as well. There's certainly some great stuff. I might well do an album ranking of that soon. How would you like that? But his solo stuff, I just never took to. There are definitely songs that I like here and there. No More Tears is, of course, a classic. A lot of the music is fantastic, but it's his voice. But strangely enough, I love his voice with Black Sabbath. I think there's something about those doomy, ominous riffs of our good Lord Iomi. When you combine those riffs with Ozzy's vocals, it creates this really sinister atmosphere that works really well. But for some reason, just the stuff he does solo, it just doesn't do it for me. I know that there's a lot of multi-stacking going on. There's a lot of echo on his voice. A lot of times there's a lot of multi-stacking, and I just find it too overdone, and it just irks me. A lot of the songs are really great. I've got nothing against Ozzy either. It's like, you know, Ozzy's a out and out legend. He's a metal icon, for God's sake. But I really want to like a lot of the Ozzy stuff. And there are definitely songs that I do like, but I always struggled with the vocals. So yeah, Ozzy Osbourne's my second pick. My next pick is Stone Temple Pilots, and I don't really have a great explanation for this one. This is just a band that I never really took to. Once again, there's the odd songs here and there. I don't actually hate Scott Weiland either. A lot of the picks I had from my previous video, I had issues with the frontmen, much like I just did with David Raymond from Disturbed. But this is just one of those bands I just never took to. You know, it's just not my sort of style of music. I liked a lot of the stuff that he did with Velvet Revolver. I thought that worked really well, much more rocky, bit more attitude towards it, but the Stone Temple Pilot stuff, just not for me. Not a band I hate, just, you know, kind of just doesn't really do anything for me. My next pick is Bullet for My Valentine. I guess this kind of falls into bands that I wish that I liked as well, because I recognise that they're clearly very talented. They're great musicians. They all seem like really cool guys as well. You know, they've got that classic sort of just everyman Welsh kind of just boys from the valley kind of just, they don't seem to up themselves or anything like that, but I've just never taken to them. It's kind of like Trivium. There's Trivium stuff that I like, and I really want to like them, but I don't hate Trivium, by the way. I actually do like a lot of Trivium stuff, but again, I just struggle with it. There's something about it I just really struggle with. Clearly competent musicians. They've written actually quite a few decent riffs that I actually really enjoy, but it doesn't do anything for me. I just can't get into them. The next couple are very obvious ones. The first one being Five Finger Death Punch. It's not music I hate. This is music that I suppose just means nothing to me. I always kind of like the bass player, you know, the guy with the, you know, the braided beard. He actually seems kind of like a, you know, kind of a funny, lovable guy, but you know, I don't know, they're just one of those bands that it doesn't mean anything to me. I get that it has that jock rock kind of mentality, and I get that if you were lifting weights or something that it could spur you on, but well, actually for me it doesn't. It's like there's so many. I'd rather listen to Cannibal Corpse. If I want to get psyched up, I'm going to listen to Cro-Mags or Agnostic Front or, you know, Immolation or something like that. No, there's plenty of heavy bands I can listen to if I want to work out, but yeah, Five Finger Death Punch, no thank you. I can easily live without that. Let's take things out of the metal arena for a little while with Maroon 5. Oh god, Adam Levine, is that his name? I just cannot stand his voice. I cannot stand anything about them. The music is just tepid bullshit that's just, it's his voice more than anything. I think it's him. I mean, I've actually seen some interviews. No, actually, I think he's a piece of shit. I think there's quite a few times where he's cheated on his girlfriend or whatever, like, and stuff like that. It's just, yeah. Ugh. Can't stand him. Can't stand his voice. Fuck Maroon 5. Actually, I was going to do some justification there and trying to make out actually they're not that bad, but no, fuck them. Fuck Maroon 5. Piece of shit. Fucking crap. Next up, we're once again back in the category of bands that I kind of wish I could get into, but it's just not going to happen. Dimmu Borgir. I've always struggled with symphonic black metal. Are they symphonic black metal or death metal? I've always, yeah, I thought it was black metal, but I could look it up on the internet, but god damn it. It's actually getting quite nice in here, you know. It's quite cozy, you know. It's sheltered, got the heating on. Nothing to do. But Dimmu Borgir are one of those bands that I just never, the theatrics of it just kind of overwhelm the music for me. It's too big and too symphonic. I do enjoy symphonic elements within bands, but you know, I mean, Devin Townsend is one of my favourite artists ever, and some of the symphonic stuff he uses at times is incredible and you know, incredibly in your face. But stuff like Dimmu Borgir, for some reason, it just doesn't work. I love a lot of black metal, but yeah, Dimmu Borgir is not one of them, I'm afraid. Next up is another non-metal act, and this is another quite obvious one, Black Eyed Peas. Fuck this band. I hate everything about them. I don't like any of their songs. I hate their look. I hate their... I fucking hate Black Eyed Peas. There's no punchline. Next on my list is Asking Alexandria. This is a band there's just something loathsome about them. I don't like the music, it does nothing for me, and I think it's the bratty kind of attitude, you know, they got that real kind of, there's just something very spoilt about them. I mean, you know, to give them credit, I don't know enough about them, so maybe this is just a snap judgment on them, but they're one of those bands that, you know, they're a very popular band. They've been around for a long time now, but every time I've tried listening to their music or seeing interviews with them, there's just something very kind of brattish and spoilt about them. Maybe I'm wrong. Let me know in the comments if I'm wrong about that. Maybe I've just watched the wrong things. Maybe I'm just lumping them in, you know, on a load of bad press that they've gotten and, you know, not giving them a proper chance. But that's just the impression that I've always gotten from them. And every time I've tried to listen to them, there's just something very off-putting with it. I just can't do it. I mentioned earlier about a band that I had reconsidered from my original 10 bands I hate video, and that band is Exodus. So many of you got in contact with me saying, mate, check out the Rob Dukes era. Now, I was well aware of the Rob Dukes era, but I'd never really gone out of my way to listen to it. However, I checked out, I think there's 3 albums with him on, and man, it made such a difference. I really enjoy those albums. His voice is so much better suited to, well, to what I like, being a selfish prick. Paul Bailoff and Zetro, I never really liked their high-pitched bratty vocals, but the Rob Duke stuff, I can get into that. Always loved the music. Always loved the music, but there we go. And my last pick for today's video, though there will be more, and this is another non-metal pick, and another quite obvious one in many ways, and that's Bob Dylan. And it's, again, down to the voice. Amazing songwriter, without a shadow of a doubt. I mentioned in my 10 cover songs I consider better than the original, that, you know, Hendrix's version of All Along the Watchtower is just superior in every possible way. Guns N' Roses' version of Knocking on Heaven's Door is so much better. He's an incredible songwriter, but that nasally fucking tone, it's not an unpopular opinion, I know that. It's quite an obvious pick, I think, but I just can't take to it. Amazing songwriter, amazing structures, amazing lyricist as well, you know, absolutely fantastic, but I just can't listen to him. So that's my 10 picks for this video, but I did promise you one band that I originally picked for this and have reconsidered, and that band is, don't do that, Man-O-War. Who knew? To be fair to this band, they're one of those bands I've just never really given a fair shout. I've never been bothered by them. The imagery, the aesthetic of the band just puts me off. It's laughable. You know, a bunch of men oiled up wearing loincloths and doing the whole barbarian thing. It just, it's genuinely laughable to me. However, earlier on this morning when I was putting this list together, I actually listened to a load of their stuff, and I can't admit, I was into it. So much so that I wanted to lift some weights. That's the sort of that's the sort of effect that it had on me. I mentioned earlier on about, you know, the whole jock rock thing with Five Finger Death Punch, and it just does nothing for me. I've got to admit, I was listening to some of their stuff, and I was like, yeah, all right, yeah, I get it. It's you know, the imagery, no, I can't get on board with that, but I actually found it kind of fun, and yeah, it inspired me to get a good workout in, so I was actually kind of happy with that. So yeah, Man-O-War, a band that I had, it was one of the first picks that I had for this second list, and yeah, reconsidered. Actually not that bad. So there we go, that was my list for today. As I said, I originally had something else planned for today, but the weather is absolutely terrible. I was hoping I'd be able to get out here and get a break in the rain, but yeah, it's not happening. It's just not happening. Make sure you leave your comments in the thing, and so you can tell I'm getting tired now. That's the thing of doing these things in the car like this. It's like, it's quite nice, but it's not that motivating really. I'm just kind of enjoying. But yeah, I'm going on. I'll see you next time. Bye.